Hey everybody, Aaron Zamzo, Fire Rescue Fitness. If you are following along one of our FRF programs, you know that one of the days each week is for rest physically. There's no workout that day. And then it's also to help with nutrition prep. So today what I wanted to do is go through some nutrition hacks or some ways that you can help to prepare and get ready for the rest of your week. Make sure you stay on track. Now the first thing that I want you to really start to focus on is having a plan and preparing meals and even cheat days in advance. You know, for me personally, I look at my calendar. So this week I'm working Thursday and then I'm working a 48 on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be home, have meals at home on Wednesday and Friday, and I want to make sure that I have things readily available. So if I'm really, really hungry, I don't go reaching for bad foods. Which brings me to a point. One of the reasons why all these different diet plans out there work, whether it's keto, whether it's Pritikin, whether it's low carb, high carb, broccoli only diet, whatever it is, the first and foremost reason why diets work for a while is that it forces you to look at what you're actually ingesting and what you're putting in your mouth. And that's what I really emphasize to you as you make healthier choices. Know where you're coming from and know what healthy choices are. And in order to do that, you have to read labels a little bit and you have to measure every once in a while to make sure that you understand what a serving size is. I don't necessarily log my foods every single day, but I will take one or two times every couple of weeks to make sure that I'm still on track with serving sizes and that I really make sure I read labels and understand what I am putting in my mouth. So one of the first nutrition hacks you need to understand is that you have to read labels and understand what they mean and really get an idea of what serving sizes are. And I think that hack alone or that step alone will help you so much as you venture into eating more healthy and working out. So first things first, make sure you understand what's on labels. Read labels, look at what serving sizes are. Don't be afraid to use measuring cups. And there's a lot of different apps that are out there that'll help you log and track foods. Again, not to do it every day, but just to get an understanding for what's going in your mouth. And then take time to prep healthy foods. One of the biggest reasons I think we cheat is, number one, in the firehouse especially, is that there's so many temptations and that you get hungry and the first thing you do is go towards those temptations. So make sure you have a plan and we'll address one of the ways that you can avoid that. So have a plan. Next thing is out of sight, out of mind. I just mentioned in the firehouse, there's so many different foods that are very, very tempting. You also may have that in your own house. And my question is to you, as you get healthier and make healthier choices, why? Why have those temptations in there? Oh, I have kids. I understand that. But if you're going to start eating healthy, this is a great time to get your kids to start eating healthy as well, or your family. So try not to have all of those different tempting foods in your house. Now, if you do, hide them up or put them up where they're harder to reach. All right, the harder they are to reach, the more out of sight they are, the more out of mind they are. And then have some vegetables and some healthier options ready. I like to have just some pre-cut vegetables, and there's some cheese actually in here. So when I need or I have that urge, I reach for those instead. So out of sight, out of mind. When I go into the firehouse, I hate to admit it, but I'm that guy. What I'll do is I'll take those sweets and those donuts and those cakes, and I'm not going to throw them away. But what I'll do is I'll put them up into a cupboard, and they're out of sight. And then I'll replace that. I'll try to put some celery and peanut butter there on the front table, maybe some grapes. But you know what happens? Most of the time after the complaining, of course, people will reach for that celery. People will reach for that piece that vegetable or that piece of food that's readily available for it. Because inherently, I think we're all lazy. If I got to reach up in a cabinet to go get my sweets, I guess I'll just have a piece of celery and I'll complain that Zamzo's on my crew. Look, I don't care. You can complain every day, but if you're eating a little bit healthier and making better choices because things are out of sight, I'm doing my job. So you got a plan and you want to make sure you prep for your week and prepare for your week. Prepare for cheat days. If you got parties coming up, or events, prepare for that. That's going to be your cheat day meal, okay? So that's already planned. Make sure that all those tempting foods are out of your house. You may want to, if this is the first week that you're doing this, you may want to throw them out or donate some of those unhealthy foods just to get them out of sight. The next thing is that a great nutrition hack is don't be afraid to have frozen food sources. Now, it's not the best, right? The best would be to harvest them from a garden, but here where I am in Wisconsin, that's not an option in the wintertime. So I have a lot of frozen vegetables on hand that I readily have available for you. Plus, they're really, really easy to prepare. But don't be afraid to have those frozen foods there, because they can actually help you if you're in a pinch and keep you on track. So don't be afraid to look at the frozen aisle. Next is, I like to always have some chicken or a very good protein, a lean meat source, always available in my refrigerator. When you look at sliced deli meats, sometimes those are highly processed. Now you can get more of an organic or natural meat source. A deli meat, I would encourage that, to have that on hand, so you reach for those sometimes when you need just a little bit of protein. You might have just heard my oven going off. I like to prepare some chicken breast, and I make sure that I have 2 or 3 servings or 2 or 3 days worth whenever I cook anything. So if I'm going to have some chicken, I either buy a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, which is great because you can use them in sandwiches, you can use them on salads, and you can use them with some vegetables. And they're really, really easy to, obviously they're easy to buy, but they're easy just to pick apart and then put into some Tupperware. And then I'll have to try some lean chicken or fish. I'll cook a bunch of that, and then I'll wind up having Tupperware and using them for snacks or other meals throughout the day when I'm at home. So, if you're going to prepare chicken, rotisserie chicken, or cook a bunch. The other thing that I like to try to do is think about, when you're preparing meals, think about 3 for 30. If you piecemeal get, take pieces of a meal, what you're really, really doing is you want to have, to make it healthy, you want to have a protein source, you want to have a whole grain source, and you want to have greens or vegetables. And you can do that. Some of this is a little bit more processed, but if you're really hungry and you're in a pinch, this is a great way to do it. I will make a bunch of quinoa and rice from these packets. Again, I have my frozen vegetables, and then I have my meats already prepared. So in this case, I'll have chicken or I'll have some fish already cooked. But I'll take a portion size from each one of them. I'll put them into a Tupperware container, and that's a meal. All right, and I try to do 2 or 3 of those, so I have not only that meal in front of me, but I also have them prepared for the next day. But really, really easy, 3, and I always say 3 for 30 because you want to be able to prepare them in 30 minutes or less. Especially at the firehouse, because you might get a call in between trying to prep, and the quicker that they are available and ready, the better off you'll be. You can also use slow cookers. I love slow cookers for chili, love slow cookers for meat sources. You could throw them in the morning. You could throw some different spices in throughout the afternoon, and they're ready by the evening. If you're going to slow cook, though, slow cook more than you would normally eat on that particular day, because then you can Tupperware them up for later on, okay? So, you kind of get the idea here is we're not only thinking about the meal we're prepping, but we're thinking about the next day and the day after that, because we want to try to keep and stay on this healthy trend. 3 for 30, try to have a couple of different meal options that you could do. I have a chili recipe that's you can find Healthy Firehouse too. That takes about 30 minutes, and that serves about 12 to 14, so you have chili for a couple of days after that. You have your rotisserie chicken trick that we just talked about, or if you cook your own chicken, that's an option as well. Another thing that I want you to make sure, and probably one of the other most important things to have on hand, are healthy snack options. And we talked about temptations. If you have that food that's not necessarily healthy and it's in front of you, it's going to tempt you at some point throughout the day. Try to have great healthy snack options available. I have some Kind bars. These are some Built bars. I also have nuts, almonds, stacks of almonds that are readily available. You saw my vegetable collection that I have. So I always try to have some things like that. String cheese, some apples, anything that if I'm really, really hungry, I reach for those instead of tempting myself with some other foods. Now, At this time of the year, I don't really have as many temptations, and if I do, I try to keep them out of the house because I know, I'm just like everybody else. I love to crush sweets. I love to crush pies, and I love to crush ice creams and everything else. So after the holidays, when people said, "Do you want leftovers?" I said, "No, none of that." All right, so I'm along with you in all of this stuff, and I'm speaking from experience, and this is what works for me. The biggest thing is that you need to figure it out by planning and what works for you and what works for your family. And these are just some hacks and some ideas that will maybe help you along your journey. And lastly, I want to make sure that you stay hydrated. Whether it's cold outside or warm outside, water really helps to, number one, help you feel full. So you may not eat as much, but a lot of times when we feel we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. And then also, water is needed for every metabolic process. So the more well hydrated you are, the better you metabolize your food. Actually, the more energy you have. And water also helps to lubricate the joints and the muscles. So make sure that you are always hydrated. And if you find that you're getting really, really hungry, reach for a glass of water instead and just see, take a little mental note. Am I really hungry or am I just, thirsty? So those hacks, all these hacks together are going to help you along your journey. Again, with FRF programs, we take a day out of our schedule to make sure that we prep our nutrition, we rest up and get ready for the rest of the week. So plan ahead, have some great meals available, readily available. Get those temptations out of the house. Make sure that you have some great snacks available, hydrate, and you will be successful with your FRF program and with your health and fitness goals this year. Please reach out if you have comments, questions. Let me know how I can help you and your crew get and stay FRF.